Hello everyone, my name is Pacha and finally welcome back to a new episode of Raven Creek. Yeah, it has been a while since the last one, almost I think over a month since my last video in December, because as most of you know, and for the ones who don't know, I was on my yearly winter break. This is a time usually around Christmas and New Year, where I take a step back from social media, from the public, basically to recover my creativity fuel tanks, so to say, and where I spend some time with my family, with my loved ones, with my girlfriend, to just enjoy some me time, if you want to call it like that. And yeah, as I said, this was started last year, I think a week or so after the new Eurasia pack dropped. After that, we basically visited our families a week after that, so there was not really a time to prepare anything for the time being between these times. But now I'm finally back. I'm ready to do amazing content again for you guys, and I'm so happy to finally be able to record a video again to you guys. And yeah, before I forget it, to everyone, each and every one of you, I hope you have had an amazing Christmas, you had an amazing New Year, and I wish you all the best for 2024, and that you can achieve your dreams, and that you will be happy, healthy, and yeah, have a lot of luck and good things coming to you. But yeah, we are back in Raven Creek, and we continue where we left off, basically, which is building for the new Eurasia pack animals. The Eurasia pack is our latest DLC from Frontier, which came with 8 new animals. There's an animal pack, so 8 new animals from Asia and Eurasia. And as you can probably guess from the thumbnail, from the intro, and from what you're seeing right now on the screen, we are building today for the mute SWAN, our first, I think, proper waterfowl species, if we don't count flamingos and cranes, that is. Our first duck species, so to say. And we are building here in Raven Creek for them, because I think Raven Creek misses some really proper waterfowls. There's a lot of water areas, but no real waterfowl, and so I wanted to build for that today. And yeah, I also wanted to start with something easy, basically, after my winter break, to get again back into the game, basically, to get back into the controls, into the creating stuff, the decoration stuff, to really don't start with a huge big project that I then become frustrated about, that it doesn't look like what I want to look like. So I wanted with something I know I could easily do, and this water area over here was basically perfect for that. And if you are wondering, if you are new to the channel maybe, and first of all, welcome, and I hope you have an amazing time here. If you're wondering why this habitat was in the beginning of the video already kind of laid out, why there was already a layout, already a barrier, already a path going on, I have a video, I hope I don't forget to link it up now in the top right corner, where I go over this area over here in Raven Creek, my main zoo. This is called the Tillamook track, which is very much based on the Teton track of the Memphis Zoo in North America. You guys that are from North America probably know the zoo and the tracks, the Teton track based around North American animals. And this exhibit specifically here on this side, on the opposite side of the grizzly bears, is for American waterfowl. It is, I think they have sandhill cranes, they have some American duck species, and I think they have whooper swans over there. We sadly don't have these in the game, but since it's a swan, and we have the mute swan, and they don't look that different apart from maybe the color of the beak, I decided to go with the mute swan over here to get some life into this exhibit. Otherwise I would just use some prop animals from the workshop, which was the original plan before the mute swan was announced and released. So this is what we go for. If you get an American waterfowl species down the line, I probably will change them out and move the SWAN with somewhere else. But what we are building here at the moment, because of course we have to also talk about what we are building at the moment, what we are building here is a bird watching hut. At least that is, I think, what it's called. At the moment it's on the ground, so it's not really helping watching birds, apart from maybe ground birds, but it will later be on some stilts and then high up in the air, and this is also something that the real enclosure at Memphis Zoo features in their exhibit. Basically a little bit of theming, a little bit of storytelling over here, and then you have these bird watching huts all over America, and I think also in Europe I saw 1 or 2 of them, where you can basically climb in, and then with your binoculars you can spot wild birds in their natural habitat without disturbing them. Most likely, these huts will be built in thick brush areas, in areas with a lot of trees, so they are not that easy visible. And at the moment here we're building the entrance. It will not be an actual ladder on this hut, so that nobody can climb in there, that we don't want to climb in there. It is just for show, basically, to give the viewers a little bit of information about how scientists or naturalists in the wild spot birds and care about birds, how they observe them, how they know what the birds are doing, stuff like that. So it's they will also, if I don't forget, I will make an info sign about that, explaining what the guests are seeing. I think this is also something, if you're doing something like that, if you're integrating real elements from conservation stuff, conservation actions like anti-poaching signs, something like this, these observation huts, for example, it's always important to also inform the guests, I think, what it is and what the purpose of it is, so that they can learn about all these efforts to care for the local wildlife. And you will now see, after that you will see a short cut, because there's a cut. A little bit of the work on these stills was more complicated than I anticipated, since I don't want to bore you with 10 minutes or so, just me trying to fail and to put these crossbars on these stills, I cut it out basically. As I said, something easy for the beginning of this new year of video releases, basically, and then I start with something where I'm not very good at, and that is working in a 3-dimensional room. Sounds weird for Planet Zoo game, but when it comes to stuff that is rectangular, that is on 1-dimensional side, that has an easy shape, I'm pretty much good at it, like this the square over here, which will be the pump for the waterfalls that flow into the main pool, the main waterfall pool. I'm easy, but when it comes to stuff that is angled and things like that, I'm sometimes a little bit handicapped, so to say, because I have a hard time imagining how it would work and stuff like that. But as I said, we build a pool here. This is, of course, the beaver pool enrichment, which the swans can use for a pretty cool animation. Same goes for the dingo dog canine pool thing that we got with the Australia pack way back in 2020. I think it was 2020, and there we got that, and they can use it with a very cool animation, really cool bathing animation, which I'm really happy about. The swan, we will see that later also, are wonderful made. There's a lot of amazing animations, Frontier did a really great job capturing these animals in this game. And what we are building at the moment here is, of course, the backstage. And for long-time viewers, the building that you see in the left background there could look familiar, because this was formerly the backstage building for the red-crowned cranes in our wetlands area. That is now not longer existing, because we will change to our bayou area. And this also meant the red-crowned cranes had to go, but I tried to keep as many aspects and pieces of the original area in my piece scrap yard, basically, where I have all my pieces and fences and walls stored, and I kept it there for example, for a purpose, maybe in the future, to use it again. And this purpose comes now. Of course, we don't use it per se, because we have 2 pairs of swans in this enclosure, and then it would a little bit be too small. So we are basically taking the original design of this hut and making it bigger, improving it also with some of the new pieces that we got since then. I mean, I think we built this hut in 2022. Yeah, I think in the first year of my videos here on YouTube, we built this hut when the wetlands pack arrived. And so it's been a while since then. We got a lot of new pieces since then, and also I improved on my building techniques since then a lot. So I wanted to still keep the old feeling and the old design of this building, but improve it with some new stuff. Yeah, at the moment, as I said, we are building a second one, so we can separate the swans if needed, and if I think it is needed, because they can be very territorial, and I know usually you wouldn't keep two pairs of swans in one enclosure. But yeah, you can say they are, and maybe the other two swans are the offsprings of the original pair. Maybe they are wild swans that came in, or that the space is enough, or they're in transit to be delivered to a different. So whatever fits whatever floats your boat for an excuse to use two swans, because I thought that the enclosure is a little bit big for just two individual animals, and I wanted to have a little bit more movement in this area, and so I decided to go with 4 swans. And maybe if we get more waterfowl down the line, I can add more species to this area, because in the real version of this habitat there are a lot of different animals in here, which of course brings a lot of movement, a lot of different interactions with these animals. But yeah, while we are building this habitat or this backstage now, which is very, very simple backstage, nothing too much to talk about, just a simple rectangular building and then some cages in the inside, on the inside. You also notice I need to get back into the speech stuff, into the voice recording. It's been a while, it's been over a month since I last recorded anything, so excuse me if I sometimes miss-say words or something like that. As you probably know, English isn't my main language, and in the last 4 weeks I didn't spoke much English, apart from maybe some small sentences, so it takes a bit of time to get back into the mood, basically. But I was supposed to say, why we are building now this hut, let me talk about something that I noticed when the mute swan was announced, that I didn't really notice before, and this was many people thought, mostly also American people, that the mute swan is a Native American animal, and that they are a native animal to North America. Of course, they are native to Europe and Asia, but also to North America, and that they are basically are one of the species living there naturally, and that's not the case. The mute swan is an invasive species in North America, which has been in this country, or has been on this continent for only around 150 years max, I would say. They are not a Native American swan species. These would be either the the trumpeter swan and the whistling swan. So only these two species are naturally found, or have been found in North America. And the mute swan is a different story. It's only found in Asia and Europe. But how can it be that then the mute swan is so often found in North America? And this has to do with people wanting to have fancy things, because when the first settlers arrived in North America, you have the whole story, but after a while, of course, especially on the East Coast, people were building elaborate mansions and manors and big countrysides, and with that comes also fancy gardens and stuff like that, and they wanted to have fancy things in their gardens, and they also wanted to have fancy moving things in their gardens. So they started to import mute swans from Europe, because of course here in Europe a mute swan is something basically a symbol for elaborate gardens, elaborate lakes with water mechanics and fountains, and then you have a swan swimming in this lake. There's a reason that the swan is one of the symbols of the of the royal family of Great Britain. So this animal basically is a symbol for elegance and for royalty. And this is what the Americans also wanted to have in their fancy gardens. So they imported mute swans over to North America to have in their fancy manors, to have in their big countrysides basically. But swans being swans and animals being animals, of course these animals didn't stay there. They escaped on a regular basis and flew into the wild, into the neighboring wildlands. And there, because the temperature, especially on the east coast, is very similar, and the climate is very similar to the one found in most of the European countries, of course they survived and they started breeding. And since there wasn't really much competition, apart from the other two swan species, but they live more north basically, or they didn't represent in that area. The swans keep multiplying and breeding and conquering all the water areas in North America, and now to this point that many Americans actually think that mute swans are a native species to America. I know probably there are people who know that they are not native to your country, but I saw a lot of comments on a lot of people who actually thought that, also on Discord and other Planet Zoo social media platforms, who talked about that they would be a Native American species. But no, they are an invasive species, not one that is very threatening from what I know to the local wildlife, but an invasive species nonetheless. But I mean, we can also say in hindsight, North America gave us the trash panda, and that is now destroying our local bird population. So thank you for that. We gave you a swan, you gave us something that eats our bird eggs. But hey, this is a different story for a different time. But this is a little bit of information about what's a mute swan, why there are mute swans in North America, and why there are there's so many wild ones in North America. That because you can't go to a national park also in North America now and don't see a swan, a mute swan, which you can recognize or can differentiate from the native swans by their orange beak, because both the trumpeter swan as the whistling swan have a black beak. They both are white. They are all white, but the beak color tells you if you're looking at a Native American swan or if you're looking at an European swan. So maybe next time, if you're out on a hike or if you're visiting a local park and you see a swan, if you're American of course, and you see one, look at the color of the beak and you know what you are looking at. But I will now leave you to the rest of this speed build with some awesome music by the creators of Planet Zoo, while we are decorating the whole area with plants and stuff like that. And then I will see you at the end in our showcase, where we look at the whole exhibit in its finished state. So until then, enjoy the time. Okay, and here we are now in the real-time part. Before we look at the swans, I want to give you a little bit of explanation where we are actually at the zoo. There is the underwater area. If you know how I set up the Tillamook track, there's the underwater area for the grizzly bears, and if you follow the path up, we come to the first viewing point of the swan enclosure basically now. And I think it's a really nice view that you have from here. You can see the pool in the front, the beaver pool where they play. You can actually a little bit see the pump, so you know how it is working. And then you get a basic overview of the whole main water area over here and see the swans standing, interacting, swimming in the water, enjoying life. And you also noticed from the speed build to here that I added some water lilies to this area. I wanted to have some little bit more plants to make it a little bit more interesting, the water feature. So I added some water lilies over here, which I think totally gives it a bit of a nicer look basically. And yeah, if you follow the path, you of course always get a little bit of glimpse through the brush on this area, but not really a real view on it. Here on this side are the grizzly bears, which is still empty, but will at some point in the future I will make this habitat. But we are here for the swans, and here we are on the other side. I know it looks a little bit, it looks high, and in hindsight I would have made the path lower, but now it is what it is, and I will not redo the whole path area because all the railings are custom made and hand placed, and it was a lot of work. But yeah, still I think it's a nice view onto the swan exhibit over here. You get a nice overview of everything. You can see the hut in the background, the bird watching hut over here, and you get a little bit of a glimpse of the backstage, but you don't see it that much, so you are not distracted by it basically, which was the idea behind it. You can see them when they got feed, because there's a feeding pool under here, and I'm on the railing, which I'm not allowed to. Let's see. Yeah, they will come slowly in if they're hungry. There's a feeding pool under here, which I try to hide as best as I could, so that it doesn't disturb the atmosphere basically. And if you come here, you see a little bit more of the backstage. If you're going over here, if you're looking over here, and a little bit of more of the buildings in back, the maintenance buildings and storage buildings in the background. But they will also disappear once I place more plants over there. I hadn't had the time to do that just now. But if you jump down, if you can do that, let's do that. Otherwise we go out and then we go down like that. We are here at the bottom and we see the swans coming in to feed. And I say, okay, so I know I didn't know if they can use the stones that way, but I think it seems they have no problem. You see a concrete wall separating us from the swans basically, and then you just have regular mesh fences. Yeah, now they're feeding. Really nice animations, as I said, really cool. But yeah, if you go here, let's have a quick look at the backstage building. As I said, just very, very simple backstage with two holding outside cages over here if you want to have the animals outside but don't want to let them in the big enclosure. If they have cleaning or stuff like that, you can still have them outside here. And then inside the same deal, two exhibits, two mesh exhibits, no decoration, no tools and stuff like that yet, but yeah, just two simple cages over here to keep the swans, nothing fancy. I didn't have the time to decorate it with tools and stuff like that, and maybe also I will not do that to save on some pieces and just a small backstage building, so it's not that important if there isn't any decoration in it. But maybe I will change that if I think it needs to be done. But yeah, you enjoy your food and I try to get back up on the path. Maybe I can jump up. Yeah. So let's go over here again. So now we can look at the swans swimming down in the water. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the first video of 2024 and that you have a great time, that it was fun for you, was interesting for you. And if you think that it deserves it, maybe consider giving this video a like. And if you are really happy and feel very good today and you haven't already done it, maybe also consider subscribing to the channel. This way you can help me with growing my presence on YouTube, and you can let more people know about these videos that you enjoy. So I would be really happy and really glad if you would do that. But of course it's all on your own free will basically. And yeah, I hope I see you in the next video next week again already for some more amazing content of Planet Zoo. And until then, have a great time, stay safe, and goodbye everyone.